Hello and welcome to Gatecrashers. Today we are looking at gate 39, the gate of provocation, emotional pressure, and the search for spirit. In this Gatecrashers episode, we explore the energy through the character of Ronald. This series brings the human design gates to life through story, through pattern, and through lived experience and expression. Gate 39 explores the pressure to provoke and confront, finding emotional resonance and spirit in others, and moodiness and melancholy as a creative and individual force. If you're studying human design or exploring your own chart, maybe this exploration into Gate 39 will help you recognize the energy in your life. Ronald once told a colleague in a lift on the way to a meeting that was already starting that the reason his last 3 projects had stalled was that he was trying to get agreement from people who had already decided not to agree, and that no amount of nicer presentations was going to fix that. The lift reached the floor. Ronald stepped out. The colleague stood there for a moment, then pressed the button for his own floor, went back to his desk and quietly rewrote his entire approach. Ronald, in the meeting, was dribbling lightly under the table. He didn't have his ball with him, just the hand going, muscle memory, the root doing its thing. And nobody mentioned it because they'd all learned that the phantom dribble meant Ronald was thinking. And when Ronald was thinking, you let him get on with it. The pause before he put his hand flat on the table was worth paying attention to. Now, what is actually happening here? Well, Gate 39 lives in the root center. The root is a pressure center, and this pressure, Ronald's pressure, is individual. It isn't building consensus or serving the tribe. It's running one continuous question through every room Ronald enters. Is there spirit here? Is there something real? Is there anybody actually home? Gate 39's channel partner is Gate 55, the gate of the spirit, sitting in the solar plexus, and together they form the channel of emoting, a design of moodiness. The pressure travels upward, looking for emotional resonance, listening for the thing that tells Ronald whether the spirit in front of him is real, is correct, is worth his time. He's a sonar. The provocation is the bing, and what comes back is the information he's looking for. Nobody taught Ronald how to read that information. He didn't learn it in class or develop it through any process he could describe. It was always there, refined over years of his own company, his own private reckoning with the gap between what people say and what is actually happening. He came to the realization alone. It arrived the way certain talents do, quietly from the inside, without instruction, until one day it was simply fully formed. He can't explain it. He just goes. Ronald, for his part, goes straight at it. No, there's no softening, no toe in the water first. He decides something needs addressing, he addresses it, and he moves, informing, when he remembers, in the manner of a man dropping something over his shoulder as he leaves the room. By the way, I told Graham about that contract situation. He needed to know. And Ronald's halfway down the corridor. Graham is still being told. That's Ronald's particular expression of this gate. Not every 39 operates at that speed. Not every 39 gets to initiate, of course, but the quality of the provocation, direct, purposeful, straight at the thing, that part is the gate. And there is, of course, another kind of energy around gate 39 when the root center is undefined, when the pressure isn't consistently defined but arrives in waves almost through the transit or through the aura of someone like Ronald. The directness doesn't come with the same clarity. The pressure builds. Something comes out, but the aim is a little off. It's the person who walks into a room and makes it prickly without knowing why, who says the sharp thing and then backtracks, who stirs the pot without really knowing what they're stirring. The moodiness can be there. The melancholy can be there. The confrontation is almost certainly there. But the sonar isn't quite working cleanly. The bing goes out and they're not sure how to read what comes back. And they're not cruel. They're carrying a pressure. They don't own it consistently. And without that bone deep instinct for where to point it, it goes kind of sideways more often than not. Back to Ronald. He was in his kitchen on a Sunday, I think it was. Someone who has known him for 20 years, something, has just said, yeah, everything's fine. Fine. Really? Absolutely fine. Ronald looks at them in that way he has, takes a long, slow draw of his big fat cigar. His hand drops to his side and starts going almost imperceptibly. Pat, pat, pat. Is it, though? He says. Not really a question, more of a statement with an eyebrow. And the thing is, underneath all of it, he actually does want to know. He's not doing this to be clever or difficult. He's doing it because he's been sitting across from this person for 20 years and he can hear the gap. And the gap matters to Ronald. And he would like very much to know what's in the gap. The other person looks slightly off to the left, and then they start talking. And after a little while, they start really talking. The kind of talking that doesn't happen at dinner parties or in lifts or in meetings that are already running late. Ronald listens with his whole self. Cigar in one hand, the other hand finally still. And somewhere in the root center, a pressure that's been building all week quietly releases. Because Ronald has found it. He has found the real thing. He has found the spirit that hides behind, yeah, fine. He'll go straight at something no one else was ready for by Thursday. He knows this. He accepts it as the terms and conditions of being Ronald, which he has been continuously and without apology for as long as anyone can remember. That's gate 39. That's the Provocateur. Maybe you've been in that lift. Maybe you've gone back to your desk and changed something that you've been refusing to look at clearly for the last 6 months, only later realizing it was that moment in the lift with Ronald that did it for you. And he didn't really do it to help you. He did it because he needed to find out if you were real. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of Gate 39 and the Provocateur and Ronald with his cigar and his baseball. Pat. Pat. It's not a baseball, it's basketball. Pat. Pat. Pat, I'm not re-recording this, Ronald. Pretend it's a baseball for now. Thank you so much for being here. Look at this amazing place. The sun is just beginning to set. It's just the most blissful place. Last night, this lake, it was like a mirror. And the reflection that you can see here now, it was so pure. You could really see directly, could see the clouds reflected in, and it was absolutely like a mirror. It was just so very, very beautiful. Look at this all the way. Oh, that's a very beautiful picture, isn't it? I'm so lucky. So I will be back again for another Gatecrashers in a few days' time. And thank you. I don't know if you can hear this frog. I know there are planes going, and Bear said you can't hear the planes on the recording. Don't worry about it. But there's a frog, which I can't see, but he's really given it some welly. It's great. Look at the colors in the sky. Can you see this? Isn't that the most beautiful thing? So, until next time, love yourself wildly. Give in to that provocation. See where the spirit lies. And until next time, as always, go gently.